Hi, I'm Maria Theoharis of Bella Sews on social media. Welcome back to Sew 50 podcast on Sew Organised Style. Grab a cuppa and relax with us. Many thanks for the ongoing support from the Patreon community for Sew Organised Style podcast. Your ongoing support every month keeps me developing these podcasts so you and our listeners can hear from sewers from all walks of life. Thank you for being patient while the editorial team for the Sew Over 50 Instagram account took a 2-week mid-year break. I took a 2-week break as well, and today you'll be treated to this podcast featuring Janene, or Ubop as we know her on Instagram. Janene is one of the models Sew Over at London features on their patterns and Instagram grid. Since 2021, Janene has been one of the models that represents older sewers.
But what I realised doing that modelling was definitely give me a confidence boost and to say yes to things I otherwise would never have said yes to.
The Sew Over It team have continued to support the Sew Over 50 Instagram account to be visible in the sewing world. If you missed the inaugural Big SewOff 24-hour sewing marathon in 2022, this online event was run to raise a target of £6,000 for Mind Charity. With every contribution that was collected at the time, £10,000 was raised. Today we'll hear how Janene will be personally involved in this year's Big SewOff. Janene, thank you for coming onto the podcast today.
Hello, Maria. Thanks for having me.
It's lovely to be able to speak to you. I see you on Instagram all the time.
Yes, that is one of my favourite places. Yeah, it's where I hang out most these days.
And also on the pattern covers and promotion for Sew Over It. You are one of our representatives as an older sewer, so thank you for doing that.
Oh, well, thanks to Sew Over 50 for making that happen, really. I mean, as you know, the first time they asked, I was terrified of doing it, and they managed to persuade me, as they do, to just give it a go. That's kind of how it happened. So I'm very grateful, actually. It was a great experience.
That relationship is ongoing to the point where you're getting involved with the Big SewOff next month.
That's right. Yeah, it's fantastic, really, because I'm not a model. You know, I've done odd modelling things, but not to that level. And yeah, no modelling since. But what I realised doing that modelling was definitely give me a confidence boost and to say yes to things I otherwise would never have said yes to. I know on Instagram I look confident and all, but that's because Dan's the other side of the camera and, you know, he's probably taken 200 shots to get that shot. So it's definitely not like most people's Instagram accounts. It's not a realistic representation of who I am. But certainly doing that modelling for Sew Over It definitely gave me a confidence boost to say things out of my comfort zone, because I would never have ordinarily done that. It was only because of other people's confidence in me that pushed me forward to do that. And since then, yeah, I've been doing work experience with students. I've been doing the odd workshops, basically doing things that I'd be terrified of doing before. So it was definitely a good opportunity. And then, of course, the Big SewOff. I was watching that avidly last year thinking, oh gosh, I'd love to be involved, but, you know, haven't got the space. You know, the idea of being live on Instagram and but that's another thing I said yes to.
I'm really pleased that you did, because last year, I mean, the Big SewOff is a 24-hour marathon sewathon to raise money for charity. It was really great to watch it all happen last year. So now that they're running it again, what is going to be your involvement this time around?
Well, I'm guessing a lot of it is going to be made up on the hoof, because I haven't really had chance, to be honest, to plan too much. But Alma suggested, it came about over a conversation of, oh, you know, I'd love to be involved this time. And she said, well, why don't you? You know, and so it was just like, oh, okay, maybe I will. And she was encouraging of me to do something of my own and to, you know, do something, have some fun with something, because to be honest, I mean, careful what you wish for and all that. I have been wishing for some more sewing time, as we all do. And yeah, I'm not sure I quite wished for 24 hours straight, but that's exactly what I've signed up for. So yes, be careful what you wish for. So yeah, she was encouraging of me to do some more original pieces and creative pieces. I've been doing a lot of patchwork things and playing around with some textures and printed fabric and stuff. And then I thought, well, that's a bit difficult live, because I really don't know how that's going to pan out. And I want the end result to be able to be good enough to donate, to give your best, or indeed auction it, because that's the bit that's undecided. Maybe the lion's share goes to Give Your Best, and then maybe just one piece gets auctioned. So I've decided against doing the more artsy making of things, and I'm going to sew over it patterns. So I'm going to be making the Selma dress, which I've rehearsed already, and the Amelia jacket, which I haven't rehearsed at all. So wish me luck on that one. I'm going to the Crafty Sew and Sew sewing camp, so I'm going to have cut out all my pieces to rehearse that jacket this weekend. So all being well, that will be the second one on the list. I have no idea what I can achieve in 24 hours, or at least 24 hours of very tired hours as well. I've really no idea. So we'll see how it goes.
The watching of everyone sewing for 24 hours is amazing. And then the element of making things that can then be donated, for charity is another good aspect of the Big SewOff that I thought was quite unique in how it was developed last year.
Yeah, it's a very good plan and a very good collaboration, if you like. Is it collaboration, a partnership? Because definitely sewing, as Sew Over It so rightly said in their last one, that it is such a mindful exercise, that it's so good for your mental health, it's good for your soul, it's good, and you end up with a good wardrobe at the same time. I mean, what's not to love about sewing? It's just the perfect thing, isn't it? Perfect all-round mindful thing to do. So it's the perfect way to raise money for Mind. It just makes complete sense, really. And I'd not heard of Give Your Best before. It sounds like an amazing charity, and also quite clever that they are definitely saying what they are on the tin, because I do donate a lot of clothes to charity shops and places like that. But I think, generally speaking, people tend to have clear outs, don't they? And don't consider that it's their best. So there is a little bit of a pressure to make it your best, So I'm going to have to be very mindful of that when I'm sewing it. I don't want any shoddy seams or nicks from my overlocker, because they're going to be going for such a good cause, and you want them to be good quality as well.
Last year, the garments that were being made, they were being made in various sizes and in various fabrics. So that was being inclusive in what was being made to then put into charity or to pass on to other people. So it wasn't just making something to fit yourself.
That's right.
It was mindful in choosing of the style and the sizing for a variety of different people, various sizes. Really clever.
Yeah. And I believe they're making lots of children's clothes as well, which is good. And basics. Alma tells me that they'll be sewing lots of basics, which is necessary, because we all like to sew the frosting, don't we? I'd love to be able to sew a big range, but as I say, it's just me here. So I'm banking on 2, possibly 3 garments in that time. I know the jacket's going to be quite involved, but the Salma at least is in a knit fabric, and it does span a few sizes, I'd say. So I'm covering, I'm covering it in the terms of a knit fabric. But yeah, given more time, I'd love to be able to create a full range of sizes. That Salma dress really it's a simple sew, but you can't take your eye off the ball when it comes to, making those gathers neat and making sure those darts lay flat. So there's a couple of bits that require a bit of attention. So yeah, maybe 1 or maybe 2 of those. I don't want to raise the bar too high so that things get unachievable. That is the plan. They will be being very size inclusive, I'm sure, because they've got a fabulous team.
And it's really lovely that you're, again, looking at something that you've never done before and having a go at it and see how it works out for you. That's really great. I'm really pleased for you.
Yeah, I like making life difficult for myself. I mean, you'd think I'd choose something that, I could do with my eyes shut. But I just felt like, it would have been lovely, as a self-promotional thing to create something really cool and artistic and do that. But I did feel like, all this has come about with the relationship with Sew Over It, and seeing how busy they are and how devoted they are to the company and to what they do. And so if I just felt like sewing the Sew Over It garments is definitely in honor of Sew Over It as well, because they deserve it. Doing that modeling shoot and seeing how they're all running around and how they're completely passionate about every detail that goes into what they do. It's such a phenomenal team spirit that they've got. Yeah, when you just see the pattern covers, when you just see the next release, when you just see that ebook, I mean, the amount of work involved in that is incredible and very, very inspiring. So yeah, it was a no-brainer, really. I definitely wanted to sew Over It patterns for this one. Just make it a bit more difficult by making sure it was something I'd never sewn before.
You're putting the time into getting ready for this and for giving yourself a dry run so that you'll feel much more confident in that whole 24-hour period.
I know. There has to be an element of rehearsal. Can you imagine? Because the other thing I'm not very rehearsed at is doing live Instagram things. Because if I do the odd reel or video or, speaking on there, at least you can chop it out and edit any bloopers. And, I'm famous for getting all my words mashed up. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen in that department. I'm hoping I'm going to have a few visitors so I can put the focus on them while I'm sewing away, or they can have the camera and they can be doing the talking or something.
Oh, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun with a lot of great people for a 24-hour period, and you'll sleep well the day after.
Oh, I certainly will. I have totally taken that next day off. I think I'm looking forward to that as much, the fact that I have a day of sleep the next day. Sending that email to all my clients, it was relief in itself, to know that there's going to be a day of rest.
Oh, fingers crossed they'll also donate. That would be really great.
Absolutely. Yes, I've missed a trick there. I should have put a link in that email, shouldn't I, to give a reason why. Yeah, thanks, Maria. That's a good reminder. I'll do that.
Welcome. I just thought it off the top of my head, so.
I know, all those details.
Janene, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast, fitting this recording into your very busy schedule in the lead up to the big sew-off and all the other work that you do every day, and you do it so well.
Oh, thank you so much, Maria. It's such a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you and to catch up with you again. Thank you.
Marvelous. Thank you.
This episode for the Big Sew-Off on Sew Organised Style podcast was produced by me, Maria Theoharis, with permission of Janene and Sew Over at London. Sound by bensound.com. Make sure you go to the Big Sew-Off on Instagram, the Big Sew-Off website, or go to the Just Giving page. On the day, you'll find this 24-hour charity event will be live streamed on YouTube, and each hour there will be a live broadcast on Instagram. We look forward to seeing you at the Big Sew-Off starting on Monday the 4th of September, running for 24 hours. Stay safe, everyone.